In the roaring 1920s, a new mod of womanhood dominated. These women represented the youth of women after World War I. Behavior was seen unacceptable due to their actions such as smoking, having sex, and consuming lots of alcohol. Older generations and critics thought that these women were lazy, self-absorbed young women who contributed nothing to the society. They also believed that these immature flappers avoided important responsibilities such as marriage, child-rearing, and their education. A former flapper, Ellen Wells Page, wrote an article titled "A Flapper's Appeal to Parents." She writes, "I want to beg you all parents and grandparents and friends and teachers and preachers, you who constitute the older generation, to overlook our shortcoming, at least for the present, and to appreciate our virtues. I wonder if it ever occurred to any of you that it required brains to become and remain a successful flapper. Indeed it does. It requires an enormous amount of cleverness and energy to keep going at the proper pace. It requires self-knowledge and self-analysis. We must know our capabilities and limitations. We must be constantly on the alert." On the other hand, supporters of the flappers characterized them as independent and intelligent young educated women. They believed that the flappers had every right to party, drink, and express their views on life. Many women enrolled in universities to receive higher degrees in education. Hundreds of these women went into the workforce, and some became lawyers, physicians, teachers, social workers, and other high-salaried professions. Although many flappers held bad reputations, they still believed in education was an important factor and held stable jobs. Henry Mencken, a social satirist, describes the modern young American woman as, "This flapper to the truth is far, far, far from a simpleton. She's actually as devoid of ingenuousness as a newspaper reporter, a bartender, or a midwife. The age she lives in is one of knowledge. She herself is educated. She is privy to dark secrets. The world bears to her no aspect of mystery. She has been taught how to take care of herself." They made drastic changes to their wardrobes and abandoned the long dresses and the corsets. They exposed their bodies by wearing short skirts, they styled their hairs into short bobs, wore makeup, and ultimately presented themselves as sexual women. Their dresses were loose and the waist of the dresses dropped, which allowed freedom of movement and allowed them to dance freely to their favorite dance, the Charleston. As jazz increased in its popularity, many flappers enjoyed partying and dancing to this genre. Jazz music filled the streets of thousands of cities and hundreds of people danced the Charleston. The Charleston became one of the most popular hits of the time. The flappers embodied the modern spirit of the jazz age. Grenville Stanley Hall was known as the founder of organized psychology as a profession, and the father of the child study movement. Hall was also known as the national leader of education reforms. As Grenville Stanley Hall states, she has a keen sense of ragtime and syncopation to the 32nd note, and her nerves are uniquely toned to jazz, with its shocks, discords, blariness, siren effects, animal and all other noises, and its heterogeneous tempos, in which every possible liberty is taken with rhythm. As the flappers became the new modern women, the Prohibition Act was placed, which was the ban of manufacture, sale, and consumption of alcoholic beverages. Rebellious flappers partied and drank in speakeasies, underground drinking bars. Sneaking into speakeasies and drinking illegal alcohol gave this activity a dangerous and risky feeling, which appealed to many flappers. Right around the Great Depression era began, the flappers began to lose their color, their edge due to the overpopulation of the flappers, and eventually they began to slowly die out. The flapper legacy still remains today.